Welcome to Learn English with Miss Dadzie. Today, we are discussing The Lion and the Jewel by Wole Soyinka, which happens to be one of the literary tests that has been selected for the SHS schools in Ghana. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already subscribed, and if you're a new viewer, kindly subscribe so that you can be updated with videos that we post weekly or fortnightly. What this presentation entails. This video seeks to practically and intentionally guide learners on how to analyze characters in a literary test, that is The Lion and the Jewel by Wole Soyinka, how to trace or build the setting of a literary text, how to explain and write on the plot of a literary text. Before we start the presentation, I would want to remind all of you that whatever is being discussed or taught here can be applied to every literary text that you come across. Setting. What is setting? It is the time, place, political or religious era in which a literary text was written or produced. The common definition or explanation that we usually give for setting is that it is the time and place that a literary text was written or an event took place. One name was mentioned as the name of the town in which the play was written, that is, in the case of The Lion and the Jewel. How can the setting of the play be identified? Most of the time, the setting of the play can or is stated explicitly in the literary text, but then sometimes we are given clues based on that to conclude on the setting on our own. In this particular book, we look at the dressing of the people, the structures in the village, the political era, and the religious practices or the traditional beliefs of the people as at that time. What does the physical structure described in the book tell us about the time or era in which the play was written? Now, let's look critically at the picture displayed. Can you compare it to what was described on the first page of the play? Well, obviously, it is similar to what was mentioned in the book because it is made of mud and there is a tree over there. Now, do you see such structures in recent times? Even in most villages in Ghana, you would agree with me that you hardly come across some of these structures. So this should inform you that this particular book was written in a time where modernization wasn't common, or where the usage of bricks to build wasn't that what's common. Now, what does the dressing style of the characters tell us of the era in which the play was written? When Sidi was described in the text, she was described to be wrapping a cloth on top of her breast and folding it in so that it doesn't fall off easily. And she was carrying pots of water on her head. Do you still see people doing that often in recent times? Even in the villages, you hardly see such things. So it tells you the kind of era or time frame in which the book was written. And now the answer to the second point, the name of the town in which the play was written or the setting of the play took place was Ilijinli, as mentioned on the first page of the book. Have a critical look at this beautiful picture displayed on the screen. Can you associate it to one of the characters in the text? Now, we are moving on to character analysis. That is how to describe or talk about a character in a literary text. And in this case, it's The Lion and the Jewel by Wole Soyinka. Which character in the play can be seen in the picture displayed considering her physical attributes? Let's think and consider the female character that was mentioned in the morning aspect of the book and how she was described. Obviously, it is Sidi. Do you think the image of the lady with a pot on her head is beautiful? If yes, then obviously we can consider Sidi to be beautiful. and it can be one of the character traits or one of the points that we can consider when we are to analyze the character Sidi. Who was said to have been carrying water on her head? That is Sidi. Do you think a lazy person would carry water on her head frequently? Because the person she was communicating with made a point that he has been telling her often not to carry water on her head. So if it's contrary to that, then it means that she's a hard-working lady, and that can also be considered in describing or discussing the character Sidi. From how Sidi talks to Lakunle in the play, can we say she is respectful? For the morning aspect, I can say, or I would want to believe, that she was seen to an extent to be disrespectful, as she gave cheeky answers and her response to Lakunle's questions wasn't that welcoming or friendly. And please bear in mind that whatever is being discussed, you are given the chance to conclude on certain things on your own. So you can have contrary opinion to whatever I am discussing here with you. It's just a guide to help you conclude on certain character traits in a few of the characters in the book. That is the morning aspects of the book. So that is all for Sidi. And the questions asked should inform you what to discuss when you are analyzing the character Sidi. Some of the points you should consider: her interaction with other people in the book, amongst other stuff. Now let's look at the second character to be discussed. Look critically at the picture displayed. Which of the characters in the book would you link to this particular picture displayed? Which character in the morning aspect was described to be wearing an old style English suit with a blanco white tennis shoes while wearing a 23-inch bottom trousers? It was Lakunle. And although that is not him being displayed, it's to an extent gives a clear representation or a similar representation of the character per the description given in the book. What was his professional job in the play? It was given in the test, so you can look out for the answer. And he was said to be the school headmaster or teacher. So that can be considered when analyzing the character Lakunle. What does his style of dressing tell us about him or the setting of the play? As I said, you hardly see people dressed like this except celebrities or when people want to take particular or specific pictures for a particular event. So it tells us that it wasn't taken in this 21st century or in recent times. When he claims Sidi's neck will be shortened in page 2 of the play, what does that tell us about Lakunle? He claimed that because Sidi carries pots of water on her head, she was going to shorten her neck. Obviously, he was exaggerating. What does his knowledge of the happenings in the city, that is Lagos, tell us about him? What does his concern of Sidi's dressing, among other things, tell us of his feelings towards Sidi? He loved Sidi, and he never made that a secret, obviously. What does his constant refusal to pay Sidi's bride price tell us about how he feels about the tradition of marriage in general, or his attitude towards it when it comes to the practices of the people of Ilujinle? Personally, I can say that he has no regard for the traditional practices of the people, because if you are in love with someone, as he claimed, you would easily succumb to the practices of the people and pay the bride price of Sidi. To conclude, how to apply these steps to the noon and night aspects of the play. Characterization or character analysis, that is the first thing we are going to look at. How many names were mentioned in the morning aspect of the drama test? So when you are going to apply this to the noon aspect, you replace the morning mentioned with the noon. How were these characters described in terms of their physical appearance? What conclusions can be made about the characters based on the description given and how they relate to others in the test? What do you ask as the reader think of the characters mentioned in the test? Let's have a look at setting. Was a name mentioned as the place the play or event in the play occurred? Based on the description of the outfits, language, and the structures in the book given by the dramatist, what can you say about the era or time period in which the test was written? If you are to describe in your own terms the setting of the test, considering the events, language spoken by the characters, and the societal, religious, or traditional issues discussed in the test, how would you describe the setting of the test? Plot. Where does the play begin? Where does the first part of the play end? What events or happenings were captured there and seem relevant to the development of the focus of the drama test? Thank you for watching. Contact information. Kindly contact us through any of these mediums. Thank you and enjoy your day. I hope this lesson is very, very, very helpful to you. Welcome to Learn English with